Hi, Kevin Coop here, and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy, sort of on the run this week, so I thought I'd take a minute and record this while I had the opportunity. So, back before the holidays, I did my review of Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. And, if you read that review, you know that I was not entirely thrilled with the movie. It's funny, one of the things that movie convinced me of was, once again, that Star Trek is better than Star Wars. And the reason is that Star Trek ultimately is about people. In almost all its iterations, Star Trek's really about people. I'm not sure Star Wars is as much about people. It's about mythology. And listen, it depends on what you like, right? If you want movies, big movies about mythology, man, I completely understand why you would like Star Wars. But for me, Star Trek, which is about people and ideas in a very different kind of way, I'm always going to be a much bigger Star Trek fan. However, it was interesting. I ended up going to see the movie a second time because Mrs. Content Guy was not with me when I saw it the first time, and she wanted to see it. And she knew I was not thrilled with it. I have a son, David. He wasn't thrilled with the movie, but she wanted to see it because she'd seen all the other ones, and she wanted to see what all the fuss was about. So we went to see it, and two things happened that evening that I thought kind of offered little business lessons. Number one, when the movie was over, she looked at me and she goes, "That was fun. I really liked that movie." She goes, "Now I get why if you were kind of obsessive about Star Wars and you're obsessive about movies, there were all sorts of reasons that you might not like it." She goes, "But, I like the movies. I'm an average fan. It was perfect for me. It had everything I would want it to have." Well, I thought that was interesting. Sometimes you can't just think about things through your own eyes, right? It's important to say, okay, how is this going to affect other people who maybe bring a different perspective to it? Really, really good lesson. The other thing that was funny, at one point as we were leaving the movie, there was a guy and he was with his daughter. And the daughter was young, very young. And she said something that completely knocked me for a loop. She looked at her father and she goes, "Dad, I don't get it. What happened to Jar Jar?" I was like, and I had to crack up, right? Jar Jar Binks was in Star Wars, in the second trilogy that was produced, that actually is the first trilogy of the Skywalker story. And it is a character who is often maligned and often hated, right? Not a great character, had a lot of bad stereotypes built into the way he was characterized. Perfect example, by the way, of George Lucas writing. And most people I don't think anybody, for the most part, went to any of these Star Wars movies wondering what happened to Jar Jar. But for her, because she'd clearly recently seen that movies, she connected with that character. She wanted to know what happened to him. Again, a great example of understanding that different people bring different perspectives to whatever the enterprise happens to be, whether it's a movie, a television show, or a store, or a product, or a brand, right? You can't always think that it's all about how you're seeing things. You have to be willing to look around and say, okay, how are other people going to perceive this? Again, great lessons from Star Wars, a movie I wasn't all that thrilled with. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.